and thanks so much for watching. Well, it's Friday, so it's time to get out the Halloween tarot and get stuck into the Freaky Friday read. Let's put the cards on the table, let's put the camera on the table, and let's see what we've got. It's a pick a card reading, time to be your own psychic yet again. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So which card are you going to pick, friends? It's entirely up to you. I strongly recommend paying attention to the middle card here, actually, because that's always the heart of whatever's coming up in a reading. But it's entirely up to you. You can have kind of 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards, 1 card, or indeed all 5. So let's get stuck in. Turn over card number 1, and what have we? It's the Star. Here we go, we've got the stars in the sky there. We've got this rather sort of dinosaur-looking dog creature thing here, which is the craziness of the Halloween tarot, as always. But it's turned to stone, and the cat here looks a bit wary of it, but not too frightened of it. You know, that black cat energy is really undefeatable, can't be defeated. We've got leaves growing, so we've got fertility, we've got ideas happening, and some smoke signals coming from the rooftops here, and the clock is showing 5 minutes to 1, so just coming up to the 13th hour, so some real witching stuff going on there. Art is always about hope, it's always about clarity, and this dinosaur dog thing here is essentially a gargoyle. You can see it sticking out of the rooftops, so it's another view of the traditional star picture where someone is pouring water into yet more water. There's inspiration coming here, absolutely for sure, but gargoyles, they were always water spouts, you know, that's what they've always been. And this one brings to mind the idea of the Empress as well, the nurturing side of nature, channeling the waters of life, the subconscious onto material earth, bringing the subconscious into materiality. So understanding is on its way when we get this card. The hopes that we have are never hopes in vain. Hope is never in vain, actually. It's always good to have hopes. It's always good, really, to have high hopes, actually, and there's a harmony here between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And what's going to happen at the 13th hour? That is the question, but we're right at the beginning of this spread here, so no doubt we're going to find out some more about what's going to happen at the 13th hour as we keep on looking. So we'll turn over number 2 now. Oh, come here. All right. It's the 10 of Imps. What can we say about the 10 of Imps? Well, there's Grandmother Moon in the sky, smiling down on the sea, and we've got the Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a real kind of Notre Dame thing going on here with the gargoyle and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Imps in the Halloween deck essentially represent the suit of wands in the more traditional tarot, so it's the element of fire that we're really dealing with here, the fire of creativity, the fire of making things happen, and it's a suit of energy, you know, spirit, growth and enterprise. Think about the magician in the major arcana, you know, magic, making things happen, transmutation, transformation, that's what it's all about. Now this card really suggests that we're overburdened, rather, because the Hunchback here is very much overburdened with all these imps. I think he's kind of had enough of them. Look, he's even dropped one. And the cat is on the case. The cat kind of fiery-eyed here. Looks like it's really on the case trying to make something happen. And that's how we get overburdened, friends. So much of the time we're trying to make stuff happen, and yet we've got to try and make stuff happen in a world that doesn't always go along with our hopes, doesn't always go along with our desires. But those hopes, those desires that we see in the start are not in vain. They never really are. It's just a question of recognizing that there's some excessiveness going on. Maybe someone around you is being kind of selfish and draining you. Maybe there's a draining situation. That can be the case. But it is the 10, it is of wands, so there is definitely the possibility here of getting something done. Grandmother Moon, she's be kind of smiling down on it, you know. She doesn't look too happy, I suppose, but she certainly doesn't look sad. So if this is the card you picked, and if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling overburdened, don't worry about it. There's going to be a way around it. Absolutely, for sure. Because there always is, you know. There is absolutely always a way, every time. So then we come to card number 3, the heart of the matter, and I wonder what the 2 black cats and these smiling skulls and the fish and the eye and the spiders and the bats, gosh, it's all here on the back of these cards. I wonder what they are hiding from us. Let's turn it over and find out. And in this case, it's the Hierophant, or is it the Hierophant? Different folks kind of pronounce it different ways. Number 5 in the major arcana, and here is the subconscious. There's a kind of, there's a hidden side to this card, always in any version of the Hierophant, because it's relating to your own spiritual possibilities. A lot like a religious symbol, really, because we've got this religious staff here with the pumpkin smiling away at the top, grinning hideously, and we've got the green cats in this one too. Also, the crossed keys and the 2 pillars with jackals in them as well. So there's many different spiritual ideas involved in this card, and that is kind of the blend of energies that we have when we're on the spiritual path, when we're trying to learn new things. The bats are looking down on it as well. I see more in this card every time I look at it, actually. And that's really positive, because whenever we look within ourselves into our own soulfulness and start relating it to all the many beneficial spiritual ideas that there are in this world, we can get overwhelmed with how much is going on. But it's actually easy to get really overwhelmed by that, you know. There's so much going on around spirituality, and within our spiritual communities we tend to find some social expectations coming up. There's no escaping that, really, you know. None of us is an island, and we don't really make a whole lot of progress without other people's ideas coming into the picture. In fact, other people's ideas can be really valuable, but again, just like in the Ten of Imps, it can get draining, really. It can get super draining. Maybe you're feeling a strong need for the approval of other people. Try and let go of it, friends. That's all I can say, because what's actually wrapped up in the bandages here is representing your spiritual possibilities, all the great heights that your soul can fly to. Falling over my words here, but it's kind of important. So visit your own truth, make friends with your own truth, and take the bandages off it. The cat looks as if it's about to undo the bandages, and it's helping the green cats at the bottom, which seem to have already started undoing them. So take your bandages off if you drew this card, friend. It's important to do that. And you know, the bandages, they're binding, and so much of what we do in this world binds us together as people. That's wonderful, but are we being bound to a draining kind of an energy? That is so worth thinking about, and I'm not giving you a hard and fast answer to that, because that's going to be different for everybody who actually views this card. Everyone who watches this reading is going to get something slightly different out of it. People sometimes ask of tarot readers, how can you possibly have kind of 78 cards that cover all the millions of different kinds of people there are in the world? And it's really the way the cards come together, all the different images in the cards, and all the different things we can actually find in the cards. Do let me know in the comments, guys, which card you chose. It's really interesting to me, and it sort of helps us get spiritually dialed into one another. I'm sure it helps. But there we go. This really is the heart of the matter, okay? None of these cards are quite as happy as the ones that came up last week. I'm sure there's something to do with astrology going on. In fact, it hasn't been an easy time in astrology, certainly for the last few days, but it's bound to pick up. So it goes in cycles, and your spiritual feelings are going to go in big cycles. If you take this bandage off, it's going to take you right to the top of how you feel. It's going to really let you see what's draining you. It's going to really let the spiritual water pour on the ground and let your spiritual ideas actually manifest into reality. So visit that inner self. I'm talking as if this is the Hermit card, actually, and there are parallels with it. There most certainly are, but this is more about not so much the inner life on its own, but the inner life and how it relates to the outer world, the people around us, the things we do, the places we go. So number 5, the Hierophant, the Hierophant, if you will. Let's turn over number 4 and find out what we've got here hiding behind the black cats, the spiders and everything else that's going on. Did you pick number 4, friends? If you did, you got this one. It's the 6 of bats. The bats represent the swords, so there's still a definite feeling that we're grappling with things that take a lot of thinking, a lot of sorting out. There's the possibility that we are rather drained. But what have we here? We have rough waters on one side of the boat, and we have smoother waters on the other side of the boat. The bats are a great representation of the swords, actually, because bats will fly around in the dark in situations that we're not comfortable in, but they can handle, because their whole sense of perception works out rather differently to the way we see things as human beings. And darkness is just not a problem to a bat. So don't fear whatever's coming up for you with the swords here. It's dark, it's frightening stuff, but it's stuff we can always deal with. Absolutely, for sure. Lots of thinking going on, you know. Uncannily sensitive creatures are bats, and so, you know, they find the food, they avoid the collisions, and they manage to navigate the crazy world of the absolute dark where we can't see anything. And bear in mind, friend, that the human soul is able to navigate those dark spaces, is able to actually bring some kind of light out of the darkness. That really is what the spiritual journey is all about, isn't it? Sort of bringing enlightenment to being and actually making the best use of that enlightenment. So here we've got the feeling that better times lie ahead, actually, if we can just get through the whole sword thing, the whole bats thing. Better times lie ahead, most definitely. And there's a journey going on. We have to just trust the journey, because the journey is really what it's all about. You know, it's only a tiny percentage of our lives in which we actually know where journeys are going to be taking us, because those are the times when we actually get there and see what the outcome of all our work, of all our sort of thinking and ruminations, where the outcome is actually going to be. Most of life is the journey, and it's so important just to enjoy the journey for what it is, because it actually is, like they say in sporting circles, it's the taking part that matters much more than the winning. But you're much more likely to win, and this is the irony of the 6 of swords, the 6 of bats, you're much more likely to win if you can actually make something of the journey, make something positive of the journey you're on. So maybe you need to do a lot of thinking. That's really very often indicated with any of the sword cards, or the bat cards as we've got here. But that thinking will eventually get you somewhere. I just hope it doesn't mean sleepless nights, friends. But if it does, be a bat. Make the most of the night time. Make the most of that energy. So did you pick the 6 of bats, I wonder? Let me know in the comments below. And let's turn over our outcome card. Card number 5. Bats again. It's actually the 7 of bats. There we go. So we have actually got a definite indication of progress here. And this is great, because we've started off with a lot of question marks. A lot of things to wonder about and a lot of things to question, right the way up to the Hierophant, which is the central card. This is the what it's all about kind of card. It's the heart of what this reading is really trying to show us. And now we've got 6, then we've got 7. So there is progress coming. We've gone a bit further on this journey. We've gone from the rough water into the smoother water. And this guy looks really happy, doesn't he? I hope I'm as happy as that one fine day. That would be nice. Bats again, so it's the swords again. There's still a lot of thinking going on, actually. He's broken into the desert camp on Halloween night, and he's stolen 5 precious bats away from their homes. Now, this can be a big lesson, actually. Is he just having fun? He looks like he's having fun, actually. But someone might think he's been stealing the bats. But maybe he's just taken them because he wants to actually show people that they need to have more security. That could very well be the issue, you know. Sometimes people will pull a fast one, so to speak, just to let us know that we need something to change. So there's some external advice coming in here. There's some external help. And it's very important not to jump to conclusions. And if you drew this card, the chances are you felt wronged in recent times. Or maybe someone's accused you of wronging them. It really can go either way. The thing to do is treat others as you would want to be treated yourself, really. That's the key to it. There's also a plan here, a plan that might not work out, but if it doesn't work out, you'll have learned something from it. That's the important thing. So there is forward motion going on, most definitely, as we see with the 7 coming after the 6. Some success is going to happen, you know. With this, it might just not be exactly what you want. But again, you know, it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the learning. But maybe, you know, someone's taking too much of a risk here. Maybe you're in danger of taking too much of a risk. Maybe someone's taken too much of a risk with you. But isn't that just the nature of things? So as we look back over the reading, we can see a definite progression. But as we come to the outcome card, like always, I think I say this in every spread I do, actually, the outcome card doesn't just mean you're home and dry and it's all sorted. The outcome card points to the next stage of the journey, the next leg of life, the next set of events to start happening. So do think carefully. You know, have you taken on too much? That's really shining out of this reading. It's very easy to take on too much. And the irony of that is it's very easy to actually take on too much when you believe you're just keeping it gentle. You believe you're just sort of doing your best. Classic example for any of the YouTubers watching this, and I know some of you guys are YouTubers yourselves with your own channel, you'll probably be familiar with this. Someone mentioned in the reading I posted yesterday that I was looking tired, and you wonder how someone would get tired making 10-minute videos. I think that was a 30-minute video or 27-minute video or something like that. And the reason I looked tired in it is that the camera kept failing and the computer kept failing. So it wasn't actually much work to do at all. I mean, if it was sort of, if I felt horrible about doing this, I wouldn't do it. I'll do these readings because it's what I love to do and I always enjoy them. But at that moment, it was quite late at night and I'd had several attempts at making that reading and it just wasn't working. But it is so worth it, you know. It's so worth it to have the channel up and running, to have the friendship that I enjoy with you guys, and I'm so grateful for that. It's worth it, you know, but there's always going to be an element of biting off a bit more than you can manage to chew with anything in life. That's what we're looking at here. The good news is we start to understand it when we get to the 7 of bats. As I just said, we start to understand it when we get to the 7 of bats. And there was a slight camera problem there. It says it's overheated. I can't believe it's overheated. It's not a hot day. But there you go. There is our spread for Freaky Friday on this occasion. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it. I got loads out of doing it. So we'll draw it to a close right there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to drop a like on this one if you've enjoyed it. And why not hit the subscribe button? There are more videos coming up all the time. Live usually 3 times a week as well. And I love the lives because then I can pull a card for you. We are live. If you're watching this on the day, Friday, we are actually live later on. That's going to be 5 p.m. Central USA time and 11 p.m. here in the UK. We're going to be live pulling cards, getting in touch with each other and generally having a great time, which we always have. There's a lovely energy in the chat here. It's actually some very supportive people and some great spiritual workers and readers actually present in the chat, helping the whole thing out. So that's a Friday one. It's every Friday, 5 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. UK. Then on Sunday, 3 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. UK, we are live again. Normally, we're live on Wednesdays, also at 3 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. UK. But next Wednesday, I'm going about 80 miles up the coast to a lovely seaside town called Barmouth because I'm going to conduct an actual spiritualist service in a church as a medium. That's kind of the main thing I do out there in the physical realms. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'll try and do an upload or something. You know, I won't leave you with nothing, so to speak. But there's no live next Wednesday. But there is one tonight, Friday night. There is one Sunday night. And after that, we'll be live 3 times a week. Internet permitting, it usually permits these days, so things are definitely not so bad. With that, friends, thanks very much for watching. Hope your Freaky Friday isn't too freaky. Hope it doesn't freak you out, but I hope you have a good one. And here comes the weekend. So let's paint a smile on. Let's think about the reading, but let's kind of make the most of what lies ahead, because that really is what it's all about. On that note, thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Do leave me a comment, guys. We will share the journey. That's what it's all about. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you again in a future video. Love to you, light, blessings, and peace.